What is going on, guys? In this video we're going to be talking about all of you international sellers. So if you are from another country and you want to sell in the Amazon US marketplace, then in this video I'm going to be breaking down all these specific things that you need to be doing and all the things that you need to know before you go about doing this. So now let's get right into the video. Now remember, this also works if you want to sell in a European country and you live outside the European country, or maybe you want to sell in Japan and you live outside Japan. This works for anything, Canada, Mexico. This is the rules for if you want to sell in any country or any marketplace and you live outside of it. So I'm going to be breaking down some of the different rules and regulations depending on what country you're from and also what marketplace you're selling in. I will also be talking about what countries are able to sell on Amazon in general, because some are not allowed to sell. And we are also going to be talking about a few things that you're going to need right off the bat before you can even create your Amazon seller account. So let's get into it. So first off, let's get into what countries are able to sell and what different marketplaces we have the option of selling in. Okay, so here we are on an Amazon website, so we know it is good information. And this website is very helpful, especially for all of you international sellers, because it's going to tell you a few different things here that we can click on and get into and get some information from. So the first one that we want to look at is where and what to sell. So that's going to tell us first off where you can sell with Amazon. And these are the different marketplaces available, like I talked about. So you can see pretty much all of North America with Canada, US, Mexico, a few different European countries like Germany, Italy, the UK, France. And then we have some Asian countries such as Japan, China, and India. So you have the option of selling in any of these different marketplaces as long as Amazon allows you to sell in the country that you live in. I believe there are around 160 countries, a little bit more than 160 countries that are accepted by Amazon. And if you guys also want to know if your country is accepted, then we will go on to this next link that I have up, and I'm going to slowly scroll through all these different countries so you guys can pause the video and kind of read through it to see if you see your country on this list. And if you guys do see the country on this list, then that means that you are able to sell in your country. So I believe it's around 160, maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll through this kind of slowly, and you can pause through it and see if you see your country's name somewhere on here. And once again, if you see it on here, then you are able to sell in your country. So I'm going to scroll through. And for the most part, if you live in a first world country, European country, America, Canada, Mexico, obviously all those countries, you are able to sell. Okay, so hopefully you guys paused the video and you looked through this whole list and you saw your country. Now that you've seen your country and you know that Amazon will allow you to sell in your country, that is the first step for you. So now you know that you are good for that. And now you need to choose what marketplace you want to sell on. So if you live in Canada, maybe you want to sell on the Canadian marketplace. And usually if there is a marketplace for the country that you live in, that's going to be the easiest route for you because it makes taxes and everything else easier. And you live in the country, so you kind of know how the currency works and different things like that. So let's say you are from Canada and you want to sell in the United States. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because you're not going to be used to the US taxes because you're from Canada, and you're also not going to be used to the different metrics, how they measure things differently, and the weights are different. Also, the currency is different, so it makes everything just a slight bit more difficult for you. So if you have the option of selling in the country that you live in, then I would recommend doing that. But the second best scenario, if you don't live in a country with a marketplace, is always sell in the United States. The United States is the biggest marketplace with the broadest amount of customers for you to sell to. So usually, like I said, most people end up selling in the US marketplace for those reasons, and I would highly recommend it to you. A lot of people say, oh, if it's so big and it has so much competition, isn't it oversaturated? But no, there is such a high demand that there are plenty of things that you could sell and make a ton of money off of. So it's pretty much in every marketplace you're able to make a ton of money as long as you know what you're doing. And if you guys watch my channel pretty often, you probably hear that in every single video. The key thing that I always teach is you can succeed if you know what you're doing. And that is the key point that you need to remember, if you know what you're doing. So make sure you're learning from the right people. Make sure you have a mentor or someone teaching you or someone that you can ask questions to. That way you end up doing everything correctly and you end up succeeding. Now for the next part of the video, just like I talked about at the beginning of this video, is I'm going to talk about the few things that you're going to need right off the bat and some of the information that you're going to need to have ready when you create your seller account. That way you don't get blindsided by some information that you didn't have or you didn't know about. Now before before we get into that, I wanted to bring us back to our YouTube channel homepage. So over here, we can see the subscribers, and I wanted to thank all of you guys once again, because the only reason I make these videos is because I get the feedback, the comments, the emails, and that is really what keeps me going, because I love hearing that I was able to help someone in their business and get them to succeed. So once again, subscribe if you haven't already, and also feel free to like this video if you learn anything new, as always. And also, if you guys see above me right here and here, we have my email and my Instagram account. So if you guys want to DM me on Instagram, ask me a question, or you want to email me and ask me a question, that is my email right there. Also, if you guys want to get into my private course that is taught by myself, then you need to email me there, because it is a private course. So you need to email me to get in. So if you want to invest in yourself, invest in your business, or invest in your future, then email me there. And if you guys don't know what that is, like I said, it's a private course taught by myself, and it takes you through the whole process of Amazon selling from start to finish. And you also get to use me as a personal mentor. So you guys get to ask me any questions, advice, personal opinions, whatever you guys want, and I always respond really quickly. And you also get a ton of other different things, such as a private Facebook group for all the students to interact and get their initial reviews. Also, you get all my personal business connections, and they're all at discounted rates, so it saves you a lot of money, especially the shipping company that I work with. So you'll save a lot of money with that. And you also get my personal templates and inquiries for negotiation, profit calculation, cease and desist letter, and all those other different things that you're going to need. So once again, if you guys are interested in that, you want to invest into your business, then email me there and I will get back to you quickly. So now let's get into the few things that I said that you're going to need if you want to be an international seller. And the first thing that we're going to be talking about is going to be a credit card. So it has to be a credit card. It cannot be a debit card. They changed this recently, so it needs to be a credit card, and it has to be a internationally accepted credit card. So for example, MasterCard works, Visa works, American Express works, Discover works, JCB works. So all those are going to work. They're all internationally accepted, and those all are credit cards, and that will be perfect for creating your seller account. So now let's get into the next thing you're going to need. So now the next thing you're going to need is going to be a local bank account in your country. If you are able to sell in your country, only if you're able to sell in your country, just like the list that we just talked about. And this bank account has to be able to accept ACH transfers, and that's basically electronic transfers. And the reason for this is Amazon is going to be electronically transferring your payment, your payout. So every time you get paid out by Amazon, let's say you make $30,000 in revenue one month, they're going to be paying you that $30,000 through an electronic transfer to your bank account. So you need to make sure that your bank account accepts ACH transfers. Now there is something called the ACCS, and that is the Amazon Currency Converter for Sellers, and that is once again the ACCS. So basically this Amazon Currency Converter for Sellers is going to convert the currency of the country that you're selling in. So let's say you're selling in the United States, it's going to take the US dollar and pay you out in whatever currency your country is. So if you live in Canada, it's going to convert your money from US dollars to the Canadian dollars. And that is the Amazon Currency Converter for Sellers. Now, the thing is, it is not able to convert every single currency. So out of the 160 countries that can sell, some of the countries Amazon's currency converter is not able to convert for you. So you're going to have to use a bank account in the country that you're trying to sell in. So for example, let's say I live in Canada and I want to sell in the United States, and this Amazon Currency Converter for Sellers doesn't convert US dollars to Canadian dollars. So basically what I'm going to need to do is create a US bank account. That way the Amazon Currency Converter doesn't need to convert into the Canadian dollar. The Amazon Currency Converter won't need to send me Canadian dollars. It could just send me US dollars into my US bank account. Now I know this is all pretty confusing, and feel free to leave a comment down below so I can clarify for you or try to make it a little bit easier to understand, but I'm going to do my best to explain it on the video. Now there is one other way to do this. If you don't want to create a bank account in that country that you want to sell in, you can use something called Payoneer, and I have it right here on another tab. So here's Payoneer's website, and let me move myself out of the way. So now that I'm out of the way, this is their website, and basically Payoneer is going to be something that is supported by Amazon, so Amazon supports it, and you can use Payoneer to convert money for you. So if your currency is not supported by the Amazon Currency Converter for Sellers, then you can use Payoneer, and Payoneer will convert the currency for you. So basically, no matter what, you are going to be able to do this. There is no excuse. It's not that hard. It just sounds difficult. It sounds complicated, but it really isn't. I'm going to give you one more example, that way you guys really understand this. So for example, let's say that I live in China and I want to sell in the United States marketplace. Now let's say that the Amazon currency converter doesn't convert US dollars to the Chinese dollars. So how am I able to get paid? Let's say I have a month where I sell $30,000 in revenue and I live in China. And how am I going to get that money from Amazon to me if Amazon can't convert it? What I'm going to need to do is either one or two options. I'm going to either need to create a US bank account. That way the money gets transferred from Amazon directly into my US bank account in the same currency, so it's all fine. Or the second option is I could use this website, Payoneer, and have Amazon convert the money through Payoneer, which is probably the easier of two options, because creating another bank account in another country is going to be a little bit more difficult than just creating a Payoneer account. So once again, recommended you either use Payoneer or create a bank account in the country you're selling in if Amazon can't convert your currency through the Amazon currency converter for sellers. I'm done saying that. But for the most part, Amazon can pretty much convert almost all of the currencies out of the 160 countries. There are only a few countries that they can't. So all the big countries like Canada, Mexico, of course, they're going to be able to convert those. But some of these smaller countries, you may need to use Payoneer or create a new bank account inside the country you're selling in. But that's for you to decide. Either option works. And for pretty much the majority of everyone else, you guys will be totally fine using the Amazon currency converter for sellers. That was the last time, I promise. Okay, so finally, now that we are past that, hopefully, we need to talk about a few other things you're going to need. So the next thing you're going to need is a valid phone number. This way they can do verifications through your phone number, so they can send you a text verification or they can call you and do a verification. So this is pretty simple. I'm sure most of you have a phone number. If not, then you can go on Skype and create a phone number, and I recommend creating a US phone number. So this is pretty simple. And the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need your address in the country that you're selling in. So if you're part of the 160-ish countries that are able to sell on Amazon, then just use your normal address at your house, because you're going to be working from home. So technically that's your business address since you work from your house. Okay, so the last thing you need, now that we have the phone number, we have the address, we have the credit card, we have the bank account set up. So the last thing you're going to need is going to be an EIN, and this is only if you're going to sell in the United States. So EIN stands for Employer Identification Number, and this is basically the way that the US government can keep track of you as a seller and how much money you're making. So if you don't live in the United States, then you need to create an EIN, Employer Identification Number. And this is pretty easy to obtain. You don't need an LLC. You don't need anything. All you need to do is go to the website irs.gov and you can create that. And I'll leave the links down below to everything as always. And then once you create that, it doesn't take long at all and it's not that hard. You get your EIN number and Amazon will ask you for that when you create your seller account. Okay, so that's pretty much everything you need. And a lot of people also ask, do I need an LLC or do I need to create an S Corp or a business in the United States if I want to sell in the United States? And the technical answer is no, you don't. You can definitely sell as a sole proprietor, which basically means you're selling as yourself. You don't need a legal entity, but you can definitely have a legal entity like an LLC to protect you and your company if anything bad happens, but you definitely don't need it. It's not mandatory, and that is totally up to you guys. So if all this is confusing, leave a comment down below. If you guys really want to get to the next level of help, then you guys can join the course and email me at the beginning of the video like I talked about. And that is pretty much it for this video, guys. And if you guys learned anything new, then go down below, click the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. And last but not least, go down below. Let me know if you subscribed. Also, let me know if you have any questions because I respond to every single comment. So that's it for this one, guys. Remember, email me if you want to get into the course, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video, or I will be responding to your email, one or the other. I'll see you guys later.